What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today we got some major news out of the Supreme Court. You know, I thought the W's were over, but this ruling just dropped a couple hours ago, and I didn't even know anything about it. The United States Supreme Court directs Ohio's top court to take another look at redistricting lawsuit. That is correct. This was a ruling that I didn't even know the Supreme Court was going to decide, but it seems like Republicans have gotten their first redistricting lawsuit win. And can somebody name a time we got a victory in a lawsuit? Maybe New York? Outside of that, we have had L after L after L from redistricting lawsuits. And even the Supreme Court the past 2 weeks, they ruled in favor of the Democrats in several southern states. But now, they've given us a major victory, which I don't think enough people are discussing if I'm understanding the ruling correctly. Now, before I continue today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, guys. Go follow all of them. They are great social media accounts, including Twitter, Rumble, all of it. And of course, join the channel today. Guys, do you enjoy the daily content? Do you want Real American, aka me, to stay as an independent creator? Well, this is the best way to ensure I stay independent from corporatism and all that stuff. Well, this is the best way to do it. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. So, we have to discuss this court case because I didn't know anything about this. I did not know the Supreme Court took up a redistricting lawsuit when it comes to Ohio, which, as many of you know, the state of Ohio, we have taken many L's when it came to redistricting. For one, the Republican majority, in quotation, they completely screwed us over 2 years ago when it comes to redistricting. And it wasn't pretty. We got really just the bad end of the stick, and it ended up where Democrats in the state of Ohio, they won upwards of 3 congressional races they had no business winning because the redistricting wasn't as successful as anybody really would have wanted. And well, that may be changing, as the Supreme Court of the United States is telling the Ohio Supreme Court to take another look at the legality of the state's congressional districts, which you maybe think yourself, oh, well, if the Supreme Court already said they won't do anything about it, why would they, listen this time? Because in 2022, there was a Supreme Court election, and for 3 races, but the most important one was the Chief Justice, who, mind you, the Chief Justice of the Ohio Supreme Court, this O'Connor, funny last name, well, she has been a complete rhino. She is the reason that Republicans didn't get that really good map like we would have wanted, potentially something like this. Instead, we got this, which, in hindsight, was a complete and total disaster for the GOP, as Ohio 1st, Ohio 9th, and Ohio 13th, well, they all went Democrat. And this was a big reason that Republicans couldn't have gotten those seats. I mean, it's not all of it, but if we got in the original map, you're talking about the GOP probably holding on to at least 2 out of the 3 seats. So, we got a new Chief Justice, Sharon L. Kennedy, who is one of the more conservative justices, and she is now the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So, the one problem that we've been having about the Supreme Court, about this one Republican, in quotations, well, she's gone. She's gone for good, and it seems like we got a real conservative majority. Now, like I said, this map I don't think is going to stay. Could it theoretically? Yes, but the Supreme Court is, the conservatives, the actual conservatives, they've been hesitant to support this map. And I think there's a possibility we may get something like this. And I know there's chaos when it comes to the whole situation with the, the Speaker of the House being, supported by Democrats. But still, from what I've heard of, it still seems like the vast majority of at least the state Senate and parts of the state House, they want a different map that is somewhat similar to this one that we originally would have gotten. Now, I'm not saying it's a good map. I'm not saying that at all. It's better than the old one, but that's not really saying much. It's cleaner than the old one. It's more compact, but there's parts of Cincinnati I don't like, Ohio 13th looks kind of disgusting. Ohio 15th could be shaped a little bit better. But outside of that, there's no real major complaints like this monstrosity. Really isn't. There's some here and there, but other than that, I would say this map is actually a bit better than what we currently got, because it seems a bit more compact, seems more in line of keeping communities together, and it actually helps Republicans, which is kind of a big thing. Now, what would happen if we did, in fact, get something like this? I'm not saying 100%, but I do think we are probably going to get a better map than we currently do. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but I just think that, the Supreme Court already was saying that, the Ohio Supreme Court at least, the conservatives were open to more of these maps that were more friendly to the GOP. Well, what's going to happen now that they actually got a real majority? Well, I think it's fair to say Amelia Sykes, I think she's probably done. I think she was going to lose either way in 2024 with Trump on the ballot. This is a part of the state that is trending fairly Republican, and it's more so she won because of her opponent, which we're not going to get into because she's a waste of time. We should have never ran her, but in Ohio 13th, I think that especially if partisanship lines up a bit more Republican, I do think you will possibly see Amelia Sykes finally get taken out. We finally take this seat, the Among Us looking seat. Don't you get it? All right. Point is, this is a seat that I think if redistricting goes well, we could potentially pick off. And Ohio 1st is another one where, at a partisan lean of D+3 in this map, while the old map was R+3. That's a 6-point swing. And the Democrat, well, he won by like 5 points. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be, a flip, but it is a potential competitive seat for Republicans to go after, especially if a Chabot does run again. He did lose, but he may run again. I don't know for certain, but if he does run again and it's a bit more Republican, like R+1, I think he would potentially have a better shot of winning. But the big one is Ohio 9th. Now, J.R. Majewski, my man, he ain't running. There's some personal stuff happening. Wish him the best of luck, but he did get screwed over in Ohio 9th. I'm not going to get into this video, but this is a race where Republicans could absolutely win. I know Captor won by 17. I know that. I know that she won by quite a bit. But the old map, the proposed map, was R+8. The current one was R+6. Plus, I think it had more to do with turnout than anything. I mean, every Republican struggled in this, even Vance. I think this had more to do with, just the fact Captor's been there for a while. It was a lower turnout election, and Republicans really struggled in this part of the state. I mean, this is a definition of Trump voters. There are a lot of Trump voters, especially around the Toledo area. I think, and I'm not saying 100%, but let's just say hypothetical, Republicans get a more conservative seat, and they get a solid recruit, and they finally take out Captor. Because I don't think it's going to be a D+15 victory like she got originally. I think that had more to do with the fake scandals with Majewski, which they were fake. There's some people claiming they weren't. They were fake. So let's just say, for argument, this one somehow flips, right? Let's just say, best case scenario, Republicans get 2. Well, this actually makes things a bit easier for Republicans to hold the House. Just those 2 seats alone. Now, let us say we also pick off Matt Cartwright. Let's say we win that district, and we take off 3 districts from North Carolina. Just 3. We're being generous to Democrats. Well, even if they won Alabama because of the redistricting lawsuit, and same thing with like Louisiana, they gained one in extra in both those states. At that point in time, Democrats need to find a way to pick off a few other seats, and that's not including some place like Washington 3rd, more than likely flipping to the Republicans. So you start to do the math, and okay, let's say Democrats, they pick off Van Orden, which I doubt's gonna happen. I still, even with redistricting, I don't think he's going to lose. I think he still is the slight favorite. Let's say they win Oregon 5th and California. Let's say John Girardi wins, David Valadao. Some of these candidates I don't think. I think, Michelle Steele will be fine. Ken Calvert probably does hold on. So then you pretty much look at a state like New York. Let's say Santos, these Long Island Republicans lose. Let's say Brandon Williams gets picked off, Michael Lawler. Molinaro, he's in a fairly, it's only like a Biden+1 seat or whatever it is. And I don't think redistricting will change that much considering in New York. But let's just say Democrats do pick off New York 19th. And this is kind of pushing for Democrats because who knows, maybe the maps in Alabama, they don't change as much as expected, or Louisiana. So in this scenario, and let's say Republicans do pick off Cartwright, that's just an example, which, you know what, let's just say Cartwright wins, but Republicans hold on to Molinaro's seat. Well, those 2 extra seats in Ohio, they are far more important than originally expected. You know what I'm saying? Republicans have to hammer down those 2 districts, at least. Try get a 3rd one if you can. I don't think you will, but I think if Republicans hammer down those 2 seats in northern Ohio, again, I'm not saying 100%, but this is how critical redistricting will be in Ohio and North Carolina. And I know North Carolina, they're not going as hard against Don Davis, which they should, but they may still go fairly competitive against him. Well, in this scenario, even if Democrats win all these seats that I don't think they're going to win all of them, but just an example, Republicans still would have theoretically a 1-House seat majority. And who knows? Again, Alabama and Louisiana, we just got to see what happens. Really, it's more so Louisiana. We got to wait and see. But at this point in time, that's not... Just mathematically speaking, you're talking about a lot of seats that you're pushing it for Democrats. It isn't going to be some blue tsunami in 2024. It just won't. And with redistricting still being to be determined, those 2 House seats in Ohio are absolutely critical for Republicans. I'm not saying it's 100%. I'm not saying any of that. But I am saying that redistricting in those 2 states alone, North Carolina and Ohio, they could potentially determine who wins the House just by a couple seats. Not just, it's going to be 1 or 2 seats that potentially flip. There's potentially 6 seats that flip towards the Democrats. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much for watching. I think I messed something up, but yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Godspeed to all of you.